Hello guys, it's MashTec here. Today I want to share some breaking news with you guys that could change our retro gaming handheld experience on OpenDingux devices significantly. Libretro, the backend API of RetroArch, officially announced its support for OpenDingux devices such as the RG350, 350M, 350P and the RG280V. All these devices would benefit from an official version of RetroArch on it. The RetroArch versions we used in the past were manually compiled versions of the open source files. For some systems, only outdated cores existed, and so the emulation performance was way behind what the device could provide us. It also lacked of features as online core updates, netplay, shaders, or multiple controller support. Now, with an official RetroArch support by Libretro, we'll get a powerful backend for emulators, game engines, and media players to be run through a unified graphical user interface that can look very similar to the UI of a PS3, for example. Let's take a look at the online announcement and see what we can expect from this version. Enjoy! Let's start with a quick look over the official post on the homepage of Libretro. The first point on the list is a reworked SDL graphic driver to improve and optimize the graphical representation in RetroArch. Full leverage of hardware image processing unit for features like adapted aspect ratio, integer scaling, and filter methods will now be available. So I think we can see an improvement here in terms of quality and speed. The gamepad driver got optimized for OpenDingux devices, including the rumble function. Improvements were also made to the RetroArch UI with respect to these specific systems, such as battery life monitoring, menu entries, and compiler optimizations in order to speed up the user interface and improve the user experience. The first released version will already support a bunch of emulators called cores in RetroArch. Since most of the emulator names are kinda cryptic, I translated the list for you so you can get an idea of what emulators will be available in the first version. This RetroArch version also comes with the automatic frame skip feature to improve the gaming experience of demanding emulators on underpowered hardware. It is only available for the following emulators so far. Some emulators already received optimizations for the OpenDingux handhelds. In general, several high-quality video shaders got optimized in terms of performance and effects. What I'm glad to see here is that the SNES emulators also got optimized in terms of performance. Some SNES titles really had their problems running smoothly on a RG350 or RG350M, so another huge improvement can be expected here. Same with the arcade emulators, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance and WonderSwan. Since the RG350 series supports the rumble function, this feature also got supported for a handful of emulators such as Gambat, the Game Boy emulator, PR Boom, Pokemon Mini and Tire Quake. I guess this is just the start of it for testing and making experience with it. So I expect to see the rumble feature in many more emulators in the future. In general, we'll get support and optimizations for new cores, what means better emulation in terms of quality and speed, an update function of emulation cores, scraping of game thumbnails, game cheats, UI assets, gamepad profiles, display shaders and many more stuff. RetroArch brings a cross-platform unified user interface to these handhelds and provides global settings for all emulators with it, such as unified button mappings and video settings. I've been waiting for this step from Libretro since months now, and finally the OpenDingux handhelds seem to have caught enough attention to make Libretro add these great handhelds and make them part of their officially supported systems. I always tried to emphasize with my videos in the past that these handhelds need a powerful UI that is especially designed for retro gaming. To be honest, I think RetroArch is a bit overloaded for a user-friendly front end, and I personally like Emulation Station more, but that doesn't mean it excludes each other. Emulation Station running as front end can make use of the RetroArch cores in the background. The best example of these two systems working together is what you currently get with a RG350X. It uses Emulation Station as a beautiful, well-organized and themable front end with the power of RetroArch cores in the backend. Beside that, RetroArch offers features like netplay to play your favorite games in multiplayer sessions together with friends, even all over the world. Not all systems are supported by this feature, like most handheld systems, but as a general rule, every game that you can play with multiple controllers on a system can be used for netplay in RetroArch. And this feature does not have to stop at system boundaries. You could even play multiplayer games cross-platform, meaning you could play Super Mario Kart with various players using different systems. For example, one player plays on a PC, the other one on a RG350 and the next on a Raspberry Pi. In my opinion, this is a very underestimated feature so far, and I'm sure it will get more popular in the future. Here's a list of systems that are currently supported by RetroArch. As you can see, RetroArch already runs on numerous popular systems like Windows, Linux, macOS, PlayStation 3, Portable and Vita, Xbox, Nintendo Wii and GameCube, and smartphone systems like Android and iOS. It even runs on JavaScript, what means you can emulate retro games in a browser. Another interesting aspect is that the Libretro backend is not just used for game emulation. It is also used by the famous multimedia player Kodi, and so it could also be possible to use your handheld as a mobile MP3 player, picture viewer or video player. Especially with the option of HDMI out on the RG350 and RG350M, you could take your device over to a friend's house and enjoy watching some movies together with a media player that actually fits into your pocket. I'm very curious about the further development on this subject and expect a couple of releases in the near future. In the end, let's summarize what we can expect from RetroArch on OpenDingux systems. A unified graphical user interface for all OpenDingux devices, unified emulator configurations for button mappings and video settings, better support for new and existing emulators, an online update function for emulator cores, online ROM scraping, and on-the-fly download of game cheats and many more content. It will also allow cross-platform multiplayer retro gaming all over the world, and provides the possibility to make your RG device become a full multimedia player for music, pictures and movies. So what would be your favorite feature of RetroArch on your RG device? The online update of emulator cores, the unified button mapping and video setting feature, or the chance to get Kodi run on it? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see each other on my next video. Bye!